right? So good afternoon, everyone. Now, this afternoon, we are going to talk about the declining balance method, in which it's still under depreciation, and sometimes it is called as the Matheson's method. So, what is a declining balance method? A declining balance method is a method which assumes that the annual cost of differentiation is a fixed percentage K of the salvage value at the beginning of the year. So, ang disadvantage in ani na method no from an accountant's perspective is that dapat mahuman sa isa ang isa ka tuig, no? Dalawa dali dapat mahuman sa isa ka tuig kasi a year is a fixed percentage, no? So this method is not applicable if there is no salvage value. So, ang formulas na gamito nato for depreciation under the declining balance method are, kaning natin naka-highlight. So, we have DM is equal to, is equal to FC minus FK, DM is equal to FC times 1 minus K raised to the power of M minus 1 times K. BVM is equal to FC, or the first cost, no, times 1 minus K to the power of M, and SV is equal to FC times 1 minus K to the power of L. So again note, in declining balance method, dili siya applicable pag walay salvage value. Okay? So, for K, si K karon is the rate of depreciation class. Okay? In which there's a formula also there na given. It's 1 minus the square root, or the L2 root of SV over FC. So, unsa na si L? Mo na tong useful life in years. Okay? Now, we also have DM. Si DM karon is the depreciation at the time of sabang year na siya. So, given those formulas, we can solve some of the problems in the declining balance method or the Matheson's method. So, basi mangutana mo, sir, unsa ang gamiton? Unsa sa mga depreciation methods ang among gamiton? Actually, kani sila na mga methods are kanang given siya sa problem, and most of the time ang accountants ang naga-decide in which unsa na depreciation method ang gamiton, for example, to sell a machine sa mga big companies, no? So, let's try to solve some of the examples. Let's have example number 1. A machine costing 720,000 pesos is estimated to have a book value of P, or to have a book value of 40,545.73. So when retired at the end of 10 years. Depreciation cost is computed using a constant percentage of the declining value. So, di ba? Pansin nyo, ang kada problem is mention what kind of method are we going to use. So, what is the annual rate of depreciation? What is the book value after 3 years? What is the depreciation charge at the 4th year? And what is the total depreciation after 6 years? So, para dali na to siya solve, di ba formula-based manitanan sila depreciation, no? So, kay declining balance, to get the annual depreciation, okay, so ng annual depreciation, or ng annual depreciation, that is your annual rate pala. Annual rate is here, that's our K, no? Kita na to is si K ang atong annual rate of depreciation. So, letter A, question ana is K. Given natay book value, natay first cost, which is the 720,000 pesos. naatay, sa pa, naatay book value which is 40,545.73. And isa pa mga given for letter A, 10 years, that's L. Okay. All right. So given the formula BV is equal, the book value is equal to first cost times 1 minus k raised to the power of m. So this is m when retired at the end of 10 years. Okay, m or L, right? So VV or the book value, which is 40,545.73, is equal to 720,000 times. So kuha na to si k, right? 1 minus k raised to the power of 10 years. So therefore, if we're going to shift solve, we can get k as 0.25, or yeah, that is the rate, annual rate of depreciation, or that's 25%. All right. For letter B, what is the book value after 3 years? Book value is, okay, after 3 years daw. So, diba, BV3 man na siya, BV3 is equal to the first cost, sorry, first cost times 1 minus k, which is 0.25 man to, diba? Na naman tayo k. Tapos, after 3 years daw, that's 3. So, the book value after 3 years, using your calculator, that's 720,000 times 1 minus 0.25 raised to 3. So, your book value at 3 years is 303,750 pesos. Ano answer? Okay? Now, for letter C. Kung natin sa letter C. Isang question kay letter C. What is the depreciation charge at the 4th year? So, unsa daw ang depreciation charge at the 4th year? Sama ng depreciation charge. So, nakita natin ang depreciation charge is the D. D at the 4th year daw. So, depreciation at 4th year. Okay? So, ang formula kaganina nakita nato, dm is equal to the first cost times 1 minus k to the power of m minus 1 times k. So, nanay k, nanay first cost, so makuha na to si d at 4th year. Tapos tayo m, right? So, d4, 720,000 times 1 minus 0.25 raised to the power of 4 minus 1, so that's 3, right? 4 man na tong m. So 4 minus 3, 1, that's 3, multiplied by 0.25. So our D at 4 years, or the depreciation at the 4th year, is 75,937.50 pesos. Okay? And for letter D, what is the total depreciation after 6 years? So total depreciation is katong dako na na D, no? So dako natay dako na D, naputay gamay na D. So si D at 6, ang formula pud anak niya is FC minus BVM, or the first cost minus the book value at 6 years, right? So that's BM minus BVM. Okay, so ang formula ni BVM class, asa ganitong formula dara. BVM is BV at 6 is equal to first cost which is 720,000 times 1 minus 0.25 raised to the power of 6. So our BV6, wait lang, magpag-calculator. Wait lang. So it is 128,144.5313. Okay, class actually, pwede rin ninyo, ano yun, oh, first cost minus ka na. Pwede na niya siya i-plug in diretso, pero sige, pwede pa nato isa-isahon. So, DM now is 720,000 minus BV6, which is kani. So, our DM, or D at 6 rather, is, so the total depreciation at 6 years is, karon pa ko nagko-calculator, so karon pa na ako gipang exact ang mga decimal numbers. 591,855.4688 or 47 pesos. That is for example number 1. Okay, let's proceed with example number 2. So, a machine costing 720,000 is estimated to have a life of 10 years. So, another machine na 720,000 tapos yung kinabuhi ra daw is 10 years. So, if the annual rate of depreciation is 25%, so natin first cost which is 720,000. Anong is 720,000 gid no? Common food prices sa mga sedan cars is inani 720,000 na automatic. Sa lang. So 10 years nimo mo na imong M. Annual rate of depreciation mo na imong K, which is 0.25. So determine the total depreciation using ako na, okay, declining balance daw gyapon na to ang gamiton. So at 10 years man no. So D at 10 years is equal to, ang formula is FC minus BVM. So BV10. So ang unsa man ang BV10 nato, kuha nato si BV10. Or pwede nato diretso on class no, anion na lang nato. D, the total depreciation at 10 years is 720,000 minus tong formula sa BV or the book value at 10 years. That's total the first cost times 1 minus K raised to the power of M. So muna siya imuhang formula for BV at 10 years or the book value at 10 years. So therefore makuha nato si total depreciation which is 679,454.27, and that is your final answer. Okay, so muna siya si declining balance method or si Matheson's method. Now, naapod tay ginatawag na double declining balance method. So kani po si double declining balance method is a method which is similar sa atong previous, which is declining balance, except that the rate of depreciation K is replaced by 2 over L. So instead of K ni diri dili na siya K, na siya 2 over L. No? Okay, double man, double declining. So karon, same lang gyapon ang mga kuan nila dire, no? Book value L. So ang naglahi lang si K nimo na mag 2 over L. So double declining balance method na siya. So examples, number 1. So sa double declining balance method, ang example dire na a machine has a first cost of 140,000 and a life of 8 years. Life niya is 8 years. Or the useful life in years, sorry. Ang life na kinabuhi niya is 8 years. So L siya. So with a salvage value of 10,000 pesos. Okay? So, unsang ginapangitan niya is the book value on the third year. So, that is BV at 3. No? So, BV3 ang ginapangita diri ah. So, therefore, formula nato, di ba, is BV3 or BVM is equal to FC times 1 minus K. Instead of K, may mag 2 over L, right? Raised to the power of M. Ito ba declining balance man ta. So, that's BV3 is equal to first cost times 1 minus, again, that's 2 over L raised to the power of M. So BV3 is equal to 140,000 times 1 minus 2 over 8 raised to the power of unsa ang atong M. So ang atong M is at 30 at the 3 years man daw, book value at 3 years, so that's 3. So BV3 nato karon is 140,000 1 minus 1/4 na no, 2 over 8 raised to the power of 3. So, sorry, this is 59,062.5. That is the book value at 3 years. Okay? Now for the B, what is the depreciation charge? What's ang depreciation? So the D at M or D at 4, no? So formula ana niya is FC times 1 minus K, dili man K, no? That's 2 over L man na siya, M minus 1 times, ang K na pod is 2 over L. So D at 4 is equal to 140,000 times 1 minus 2 over 8 years na life. M is 4 minus 1. Ay, fourth year man daw. Yeah, 4 minus 1, that's 3 times 2 over 8. And our D at 4 is, or the depreciation at the fourth year is 14,765.625 pesos. Okay? And for letter C, ay wala na din letter C na ginahan pag-solve niya. Okay, let's proceed with problem number 2. Problem number 2 is a lathe machine has an, is it latte or lathe? Basta kana na machine has an estimated salvage value of 10,000 at the end of its useful life of 8 years. So naka-useful life of 8 years, ano siya mong L. 8. Salvage value is 10,000. Sa pamana na. Compute the first cost. Okay, ang question is first cost. Compute the total depreciation. Okay. Total depreciation at the end of fourth year is 957,031.25. So, FC atong ginapangita. First cost. Okay. Nag-decline naman siya at fourth year. So, unsa ka kamahal ang ato ang machine. Okay, before siya nag-depreciate ang yung values pagka 4 years. Okay. Nasugdan na to. So, natay formula, kay FC man itong ginapangita, tama? Sila man natay formula na DM is equal to FC, or the first cost, minus BVM, in which si BVM is FC times 1 minus 2 over L, takay double declining man, raised to the power of M. Okay? So, that's D4 is equal to FC. Ganito natin siya. Minus FC times 1 minus 2 over L raised to the power of 4. Okay? So, unsa gani itong D4? That's 957,031.25 is equal to first cost minus first cost times 1 minus 2 over 8 raised to the power of 4. So makuha nato si first cost kay naman tay given na be at fourth year. So, if you are going to use shift solve for this problem, we can get the first cost as 1,400,000 pesos. So, di ba? 1,400,000 siya, pero pag at the end of 4 years, nahimo na lang siya 957,031.25 using the double declining balance method. Okay? So, for example, ako ang accountant and or for example, ako expert ana na field. So, ibaligyan na nato aning machine nato sa Picas company since useful pa man siya kay 4 years naman nagamit using double declining balance method, no? So, inana siya na setup or scenario if gamito nato siya in real life. Sige. So, down to the last example for double declining balance method. So, an equipment worth 5,000 pesos. So, with first cost na niya is 5,000. And ang salvage value is 500 pesos at the end of its 5-year depreciable life. So, ang useful life lang niya is 5 years. Compute the depreciation of the equipment on the third year. Okay, depreciation on the third year only using double declining balance method. Okay, so dm. We have the formula for the depreciation as dm is equal to fc times 1 minus 2 over L, di ba? Hindi siya K. Muna yung formula for depreciation. So, D at third year is, the first cost is 5,000 pesos. 1 minus 2 over L, which is 5. Ang M nato is, on the third year man daw, so that's 3 minus 1, which is 2, times 2 over 5. So, therefore, this is D3 is equal to, ay, nanadid rin answer. Pero sure ko 720 pesos na. Pero, if we are going to verify, ako siya i-verify ha. Yeah, 720 pesos yun siya. So, 720 pesos ang yahang depreciation on the third year. So, pagka 3 years, ang 5,000 pesos, nahimo na lang og 4,000 something. Wait lang. 4,280. No? So, this is for the declining balance or Matheson's method or kay double declining balance method. So, if you have any questions, let me know in our synchronous session today. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.